RadioShack, the iconic American chain of consumer electronics stores since 1921. If you were born in the 90s or before, you probably remember visiting this place to pick up anything from batteries to speakers and resistors. When you entered, the air hung with an unmistakable, slightly acrid scent of solder, a testament to the creative tinkering that often took place within those red and white walls. RadioShack wasn't just a store. It was a haven for hobbyists and tech enthusiasts, a place where budding engineers and curious minds could lose themselves in the wonders of electronics. Now, I have a ton to go over, from this company's epic rise to its downfall, an attempt at staying relevant until their eventual bankruptcy. And it may come as a surprise to some of you, but brick and mortar Radio Shacks didn't officially go out of business until 2015, and they still have an online presence today. But let's take it back to the beginning. Radio Shack was founded in 1921 by two brothers, Milton and Theodore Dutchman. The company was sprouted from passion for a niche hobby, amateur radio, often referred to as ham radio. Back then, radio technology was in its early days, capturing the imaginations of tinkerers and tech enthusiasts. Ham operators built and modified their own radio equipment, and the Radio Shack catered directly to them, offering specialized parts and components, anything that you needed to build these devices. By the 1960s, a guy named Charles Tandy saw an opportunity for a broader appeal. He transformed the company into the Tandy Corporation, a name reflecting its expanding reach. The Tandy Corporation strategically embraced a wider electronics market, going beyond just ham radio supplies. Radio Shack shelves began to stock a treasure trove for budding electronics enthusiasts. They had do-it-yourself kits that allowed customers to build their own gadgets. They had transistors, which are the building blocks of electronic circuits. And they also had a product that would become legendary, the TRS-80 computer line. The TRS-80 series wasn't just another computer, it was a game changer. Released in 1977, the TRS-80 rivaled early offerings from tech giants like Commodore and Apple. This was at a time where personal computers were so expensive and complicated, and the TRS-80 offered a more affordable and accessible option. This brought the power of computing to a wider audience. And this bold move by the Tandy Corporation solidified Radio Shack's place not just as a retailer, but as a key player at the forefront of the personal computing revolution. Now, fast forwarding, the 1970s and 80s were Radio Shack's golden age. The red and white branding became a beacon for anyone needing a quick fix of electronics. With a vast network of stores seemingly on every corner, Radio Shack offered a one-stop shop for the bargaining consumer. It was a wonderland for the average person, shelves overflowing with the latest gadgets and gizmos, from scientific calculators to batteries that powered countless toys and devices. Radio Shack had it all. They catered to the growing car scene with flashy car stereos, which were perfect for blasting people's tunes, and as video games exploded in popularity, Radio Shack became the destination for all the latest consoles and game cartridges. And as some of you know, this fueled countless hours of pixelated adventures with you and your game. However, beneath the shiny surface, cracks were beginning to show. The rise of the IBM PC standard, with its superior processing power and growing software library, chipped away at Radio Shack's stronghold in the computer market. The TRS-80, once a revolutionary machine, began to feel dated. Fierce competition also emerged from big box retailers who could offer lower prices and wider product selections. These factors, while seemingly minor at first, began to erode Radio Shack's market share, planting seeds for the struggles that would define the future. The 1990s ushered a new era for electronics retail, and Radio Shack, clinging to the past, began to lose its grip. Big box retailers like Best Buy rose to prominence, offering a wider selection of electronics at competitive prices. These stores boasted expansive floor plans, well-trained salespeople, and a focus on customer service, which was a stark contrast to Radio Shack's often cramped and cluttered stores with their staff stretched thin. Meanwhile, a revolution was brewing online. Amazon was pioneering e-commerce, offering unparalleled convenience and access to a vast array of products. Radio Shack, however, remained slow to adapt. Their website, if it even existed, was a pale imitation of the online shopping experiences emerging elsewhere, and struck in the bygone era, they failed to capitalize on the digital revolution. To make matters worse, Radio Shack made a strategic misstep by heavily focusing on low-margin cell phone plans. Their stores became inundated with an overstock of phones, pushing aside the very components and do-it-yourself kits that built their legacy. This shift alienated their core customer base, which were the hobbyists and tech enthusiasts who craved the thrill of building and tinkering. The shopping experience itself became overwhelming, with poorly organized shelves and a lack of knowledgeable staff to guide customers through the ever-evolving world of electronics. The once thrilling hunt for that perfect component became a frustrating maze. RadioShack's efforts to expand into cellular contracts further backfired. Many customers found the process cumbersome, and the plans were unsupportive, further damaging the brand's reputation. Their inability to adapt to the changing retail landscape and the rise of e-commerce ultimately proved to be RadioShack's undoing. And by the time the 2010s rolled around, RadioShack slowly devolved into what is considered an equivalent style of a sinking ship. They kept hemorrhaging money with every passing quarter. A series of bad acquisitions proved to be millstones around the company's neck, and these ill-fated purchases diverted resources which saddled RadioShack with debt, hindering their ability to invest in innovation and keep pace with the market. Farther crippling the company was leadership disconnect from the very consumer trends they needed to embrace. Stuck in a mindset of past successes, RadioShack failed to understand the changing needs of its customer base. Tech enthusiasts who once reveled in exploration of resistors and capacitors was now a digital savvy shopper, comfortable researching and comparing products online before ever stepping foot in the store. RadioShack, however, remained entrenched in its outdated brick and mortar model, offering little reason for customers to choose them over the convenience and wider selection of online retailers. Then the inevitable finally happened in 2015. RadioShack filed for bankruptcy, a stark reminder of their failure to adapt. Several attempts were made to revive the brand, but they all seemed like pale imitations of the RadioShack's yesteryear. The magic was gone. The iconic red and white stores, once beacons of possibility, now stood as empty shells, testament to a company that couldn't keep pace with a rapidly evolving world. RadioShack's story serves as a cautionary tale for any business, a chilling reminder of the perils of complacency and the importance of staying ahead of the curve. What do you think that RadioShack could have done to still be alive today? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you like more stories like this, please hit the like and subscribe button. And I'll see you in the next one.